Hi, this is Alex from CoachMancini.com, and today I'm going to show you how you can import a CSV file in Python. Let's take a look at that dataset here that we have from the government of Canada. So that's the long-run real income estimates, and you can see that we have the dataset in the CSV format. So you can see that it's a pretty standard file. We have year, country, and a couple of values, units. Let's import it in Python. The first thing that you need to do is import the library Pandas. So we would do that with import pandas as PD. Then we will use the read CSV function from Pandas. So that read CSV function basically allows you to take a CSV file and just assign it as a data frame in Python. So if you look at the argument that we have here, is just the path to the file. By running that line, I will simply ask Panda to use the read CSV function and import that file, the data.csv file, and assign it to the data variable. Let's run that and take a look at a couple of rows with the head function. So you can see here that we have 5 rows and we have the same exact data that we just seen in our CSV file. The only thing that's different is that instead of having blank values, we have NaN. We're going to get rid of those, but just before, let's take a look at the different arguments of the read CSV function. So you can see that the read CSV function has a lot of arguments, maybe around 50. We will look at the header argument and also at the skip rows argument. Let's remove the NaN that we've seen previously. Let's run that same line, but I will add the fill NA function at the end. So what it does is simply takes all the NaN values and then it will replace them by whatever I specified in those brackets. So what I've said is replace all the NaN values with nothing, so with the blank. And now you can see that we have the same exact data frame, but we don't have the NaN values that we had previously. Let's now look at the case where you have a CSV file that has no header row. You could specify header equals none in the read CSV function, and that will tell Python that the first row is not a header row. Let's run it, and you will see that instead of using the first row as a header row, Python will attribute a number starting from 0 up to the number of columns that you have. In this case, we don't want the header equals none argument, of course, because we have a header row. In some cases, you will also have CSV files that have a lot of information at the beginning. So maybe the first row is the title, the second row is the name of the person who created the report. So you want to get rid of a couple of few rows at the top of your file. To do that, you would use the skip rows argument and specify the number of rows that you want to skip. So in that case, let's say I skip the first row. Let's run that. You can see that we skipped the header row and went straight for the second row. And Python thinks that the second row now is the header row. So we could also specify header equals none to tell Python that the second row is not a header row. Let's run that again. Now you can see that we started from our second row and we told Python that the second row is not a header row. So Python assigned a header row starting from 0, column 0, up to the number of columns that we have in our CSV file. Finally, let's just take a look at our data frame that we have. You can see that all the rows that we had in our CSV file are there. All the data is there. So now you're ready to perform some analysis or whatever else you need to do with this data. So that was how to import a CSV file in Python. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please write to me on coachmancini.com.